Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of The Jug Show. So, we're going to be continuing a conversation about One World Under Doom. So, this is One World Under Doom 4. So, when we reach the end of this, we're about at the halfway point of this event. With 9 issues, this is the point. This is essentially the 4.5. That's what I could decide to call it. The end between the end and the beginning of 5, and the end of 4. So, yeah, we're finally reaching the halfway point. This really signifies that we are at the end of Act 1 of One World Under Doom. Because there's a massive difference between this particular issue and the 3 issues we've had prior. The big difference being the fact that the previous 3 were massive introspectives of the world around us, what Doom is doing for the world, and what the world is now like under Doom. This is a completely different story. With now all the heroes removed, Dormammu now attacks. This particular issue is a massive battle. This is where R.B. Silver's artwork actually shines the most. I've stated that previously in some of his other books, the way he draws some of the characters can sometimes be a little bit off-putting. The primary example I'd like to put in is the Scarlet Witch. Sometimes that just looked very weird. But when it comes to the actual battle and mass scenes with like massive splash pages, he really shines. He's actually a very good artist. But the fact is, no artist is perfect. But this is definitely his shining moment. Another interesting aspect of this particular issue is that it really shows who Doom is as a person. The reason why he's so powerful, why he's so committed, it's one of the reasons why he's actually a very interesting villain. And it really shows off, in a way, his ego. See, with his ego, it can almost be like a counterpart to, say, a superhero's determination, his willingness to not give up, where the hero's is normally fueled by a sense of righteousness and indignation to protect those that can't protect themselves. Doom is unwilling to lose and give up because he just can't bring himself to do it because he is Doom. That is the main takeaways of these issues. This is why Doom is such an interesting character. He's not just another villain of the week. He is Doom. It's why he's always been considered like more sometimes a bit of an anti-hero because he's always had the people's best interests at heart, and his defining flaw is his ego. But where his ego can be, it can almost be a heroic trait. It's a very interesting look into this character, and I feel that Ryan brings it out very well. In fact, recently, I feel like some of his best writers is definitely Ryan, and I feel like he writes him a little bit more interesting than the other, which is Al Ewing. Al Ewing he definitely does a good Doom. He definitely shows off his sense of respect for others. He definitely shows off his, what's the word I'm looking for here? Like his power. Like he definitely does do an interesting Doom, and it's one of my favorite forms of him, I won't lie. You also got Hickman, who does a great Doom. Oh, man. The Doom book of 2024, written by Sanford Green and Jonathan Hickman, was actually spectacular. Not only as a Doom book, but also as a Galactus book, because unfortunately, a lot of writers actually use Galactus as a way to power scale a character. And I feel like that ruins him, but this book really made him feel like a threat again. Because it showed what would happen if he went mad, it showed him what happens, like just how powerful he is, that he can take down other superheroes that a lot of writers use to make Galactus seem more like a joke. So I'm glad he did that. So like Ryan North, Al Ewing, Hickman, and Sanford Green, they do a very good Doom. They really show how powerful and what is actually interesting about Doom, especially with Hickman. He did that in Secret Wars. He showed that he and Reed are very two sides of the same coin. And if I'm hope that maybe we could see Doom in the upcoming Imperial comics that I'm actually really excited for, but I haven't really read much of it. The cosmic area is interesting to me, but sometimes I'm not really interested in the characters out there. If I'm being honest, I'm looking forward to seeing T'Challa out there, but honestly, the Guardians of the Galaxy, they've kind of always been a bit meh for me. So I'm not exactly like my heart's not racing for Imperial, but but I am excited to see Hickman writing up some of these characters. So, continuing on with this particular issue, like I said before, all the heroes are gone. Dormammu, noticing that the Earth's defenses are down that Doctor Strange put up, and that they're supposed to be there. No, the Sorcerer Supreme is supposed to maintain. These spells have been there for a long time, and Doom didn't. He didn't maintain them. He didn't do what he was supposed to do. I thought that that might have been a plan that he was supposed to. That he was going to do that to lure in Dormammu so he could actually take his power like he did in the what was it called? It was the Last Annihilation books. I thought that would have been interesting, but this is apparently just more or less an oversight of Doom and another representation of his ego. See, this is where it's actually interesting. These normally when Dormammu attacks, he's taking on Steven. And what Steven does, he tries to outwit him. He tries to outsmart him. He tries to get Dormammu to do something that would lead Dormammu to being sealed, leads him to being banished, something or other. They end up, like as Doom says, in a stalemate. They can't get rid of each other, but they both have to back off. Doom isn't trying to do that. Believing that he is better and superior to Steven, he goes more on the offensive. He actually is trying to he's trying to fight Dormammu. He wants to beat Dormammu. He wants to destroy Dormammu. Whether it's to protect the Earth, protect his ego, prove a point, that kind of remains to be seen. Because knowing Doom, this still could be part of a larger thing. And it's just going a little bit farther than he actually anticipated. Which that's what I'm kind of hoping for. That would actually be interesting. So it really starts, like he states here, he cast 3 spells that we don't know exactly what they are. But the first one, then the one he mentions, which is the one he mentions here, that it defends him from being warped away. So he's now going to, so this is where the fight begins. Now, like I said, this is definitely where R.B. Silver's artwork definitely shines. He is making Doom and Dormammu both very intimidating. No, he's not making Doom intimidating. He's making Dormammu intimidating and almost not softening him, but he's definitely showing that Doom is the lesser of the intimidating between these two. He's definitely showing that Doom is the underdog compared to Dormammu. And that's actually very impressive because Doom's always been a bit more of a larger supervillain. Like if Doom's coming at you, you know you're going to be worried. So by making it so, I think he's actually definitely using the positionings rather well because fact is by putting Doom lower than Dormammu, he's definitely showing that Dormammu is the more powerful out of the two. So yeah, Silver definitely knows what he's doing here, and it's actually looking really, really cool. So it's a typical superhero supervillain fight. Supervillain versus supervillain fight. And if I'm being honest, I've actually always appreciated I always enjoy more of superheroes fighting superheroes or supervillains fighting supervillains compared to superhero versus supervillain. Because when it comes to villain versus villain or hero versus hero, I feel like it makes it more interesting because with hero versus villain, 90% of the time it's always going to be the hero winning, so you really know what's going to happen at the end there. But when it comes to villain versus villain or hero versus hero, you kind of don't. It could really go either way. So it's definitely it's more dependent on the writer. It boils down to a 50-50, making it a lot more interesting. That's what makes this fight interesting. It's the ultimate power of Dormammu versus the unwillingness to fail of Doom. So that's really what's coming out here. So what Doom does that he feels like he's definitely doing better than Steven is that the Eye of Agamotto is also a very powerful. He's using the Eye of Agamotto. So, not unlike the MCU, the Eye actually has more power than just being one of the Infinity Stones in the comics. It's got all kinds of powers. He's able to see things that can go unseen in a way. I'm very badly describing it because it's a massively powerful device, and it's one of the reasons it's one of the not a requirement. What's the word? Like it's bestowed to the Sorcerer Supreme. They're the ones entrusted with the Eye, and it's such a and he's using it as a more powerful weapon, bending and powering its light, and turning it into a powerful weapon, and using it against Dormammu. And while that seems to work, shows off that Dormammu isn't just a Dormammu. He has his own legions. He's got more power. He's a very powerful being. And so, to counter it, Doom does something that seems very uncharacteristic, but as the guy on the other side of this would have a bit of respect for. He's probably just enjoying the witty irony of saying, flame on. I gotta admit, when I saw that come up, I was just like, I made the Tim Allen noise from Home Improvement. or like, whoa, he actually said that? I mean, it's Doom. You don't expect him to just come up with a witty catchphrase, aside from like just "I am Doom." Like he's got his catchphrase, and now he's using Johnny's catchphrase, and it's not using it to create magical flames. He's using it to redirect or rechannel some form of word, the same energy that he was using to torture and try almost destroy Dormammu, and now he's using it on his legions. Not just as Johnny's fire, but also as Cyclops' optic blast. He's using it as a Wolverine's claws. He's really showing his ingenuity and his knowledge of all these different characters. He's faced Cyclops, he's faced Johnny, he's faced Wolverine, he's faced all these characters, and now that's coming ahead. He's been on the other side of these things. So now he's using, and so knowing that they work, so why not just use them against this other guy? It's actually a very creative idea and very creative use of characters, as well as a creative use of the actual Eye of Agamotto. That's what's charging these powers. It's what he's using. So of course, that's what Dormammu is going to go for when Doom's attention is occupied, as what he calls an oversight. Because that's how Doom normally loses. That's how Doom gets his ass kicked pretty much every time by the Fantastic Four. Doom normally does have the upper hand in so many situations, but he keeps thinking because he has the upper hand, he can't lose. But then he notices something goes wrong. So then it tends to go wrong and he gets his ass kicked. Which is what makes the Doom books of, I think it was Christopher Cantwell. When he wrote the books, he wrote that Doom's device went haywire because Doom actually made it go haywire because he started second guessing himself, not because Reed questioned him, but because Reed said that was actually really good. He thought he was a good idea. He was actually impressed. And so while Doom would double down that his idea is a good one when Reed says it's a bad idea, if Reed was to say it's a good idea, he would say, okay, something's definitely wrong. So that's what's happening here. He's getting overconfident, he's eager to control, and so Dormammu now gets the upper hand, and he just starts ruining Doom, destroying his armor, breaking his limbs, and then just chucking him into the ocean. And here is where Doom's more noble side. This is the part of Doom that's very heroic. That where his heroism would come from. His inability to give up. His ability to struggle against something that would break a lot of people. Like, you see a lot of heroes do this when the odds are massively stacked against them, where they would push against the massive weight on their backs. You don't see this a lot with villains, though. A lot of times, this is where they would absolutely lose. And they would never really experience something like this, because I don't think heroes would actually take it this far. So the fact that Doom struggles against this kind of adversity, he starts strangling demons, he starts fighting back, and he bursts back out of the water. And so now he's going for his second round against Dormammu. This time, he's buck naked except for a little bit of the his hood and the cloak of levitation. That's all he's got on him right now. And then we reveal the second spell that was supposed to protect him from Dormammu, which was a time stop. So now he has stopped time, but he's also still within Dormammu's grasp. And it's in this moment we really see that more noble side of his ego. So the reason why I call it noble is because it is a very good quality to have, whether it's driven by ego or a sense of duty. Because used for the right reason, this type of determination can actually save a lot of people's lives. It can equal the difference between life and death. So he's going through all the ways he could probably stop Dormammu, or at least stop from dying, and even for a second he considers maybe he's lost. But the idea of losing is just ridiculous. It's ridiculous to him. He cannot bear the thought of losing. His ego, his soul, won't allow it. So he cannot confront the idea that he's lost. We've seen this a lot of times when it comes to Doom. He always takes every loss he's taken as a victory yet to be finished, in a way. That it was a fail, so I'm going to do something different, I'm going to learn from this, but this is somehow my victory. And he's not going to allow Dormammu to actually beat him. So driven by his ego, using his determination, and believing that he is not lesser men, that he actually moves his broken limbs to cast another spell that backs him away from Dormammu and saves his life. And then the third spell is revealed, his third defensive spell. This was the one that he had going the entire time. This whole fight was actually more of a distraction. He has this entire time has sent Doombots and forces to save the superheroes, all the heroes. So they were all this entire time in this pocket dimension, and Doom had sent forces there to get them back out. And because he knows that Doom is on the right side, the more heroic side, they know that the heroes would gladly fight alongside Doom against Dormammu because they know they're the bigger threat. So that's why Doom is such an interesting character. He is a villain or anti-hero, but you know that he would work for the greater good. He believes in the greater good. The problem is, he thinks he's the greater good. This is actually this is definitely a really cool fight. It's something that was kind of needed, just a nice explosive splash after 3 issues of political introspection, which was actually very good, very interesting read, and is definitely worth it. This has definitely still caught my attention. This was just a nice epic kind of vibe. I loved seeing Doom's ego and determination being used almost like an MC for an anime. In fact, when I read the whole thing about with his broken arms, I was actually taken aback to this scene from Black Clover.
Stop me from killing you! Not yet. I'm still not giving up.
During that scene, Asta, the main character, the one that said he won't give up, he was beaten, battered, and bruised, his arms were broken, but he was still going to be taken on Veto, this massive beast that has been wrecking everybody in his entire squad. So this was like Doom's anime fight. This is his big anime fight. And I loved it. It was a great issue. It was so much fun. It didn't need to be very deep, because this is just where RB Silver got to show off his artwork. This is where Ryan just got to show he can do a fight and just show what makes Doom so powerful. So, the next issue is going to be continuing the fight against Dormammu, and I feel there's also going to be what leads to issue 6, which is apparently where Reed figures out something that Doom did to acquire the power that he's gone to take over the world. So I think what's also going to happen is that in Doom's weakened state, Reed's going to actually find a bit of an oak gap in Doom's armor, where he's going to find out a secret that no one else was supposed to find out, and he's going to let it all out. So that's what I think is going to happen. So I think the next 2 issues are going to be very interesting. And then we have the next 3 issues, which solicitations still aren't out yet at this point in time. So it's definitely all a mystery of what the final act of One World Under Doom is going to be. And what more interestingly is what's going to happen afterwards. That's what's really got my attention. I'm very excited. So, wrapping up. Fun issue, really cool, perfect work for RB Silver's artwork. This is where he shines. This is RB's definitely RB's. What's the word? It's his playground. It's his home field. Definitely, he's very good at doing like very big power moments. This was filled with it. Definitely good showing of Doom and his determination as a person. So, if you like this video, leave a like and subscribe. If you want to talk about Doom, if you want to talk about other comics, if you want to talk about cartoons or just about anything, leave a comment in the section below. And I really hope you had fun today talking comics. Okay, see you guys later.